I think for me, what I want people to think of my work to be is like more of that. Like when Darcy says, you know, you find the invisible, that's what I want people to think about me and my work of, like whether it's marketing, sales or business, like the ability to discern where the gaps are and like shine a light on them really quickly. How do I even start this one? I feel like I should do a massive... The curse, yeah.
Actually, I feel like almost anyone, going back to the creating thing, everyone's creative, and if you just, if they have an itch, but they're not trying to bring it out in some creative way, then I feel like they'd almost not be paying attention to the itch. So it's like that's the next step, if you know what I mean? Like, so say, you like seeing how this links to this, right? But you could have your whole ideas in your mind of how this links to this, but then you never go to yourself, well, I need to like communicate this, so I need to create something from this, and that's like, I feel like that's like the next step of it, right? Like, your itch isn't really being scratched until you're communicating.
It's a really good point, because I was watching that masterclass with Deadmau5 actually last night as well, creating electronic music. And he talks about music in a really different way. He says, you know, when you're creating this, he goes through a very specific process. This could be advice for people. He purposely sleep deprives himself. So like he starts at 10 p.m. and then like he gets to a point where his best work comes out at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And he says that's fairly common with musicians and artists and writers and stuff. And I could tell the interviewer what I said, well, why do you think that is? And he says, well, because you lose judgment. He says, this is why you shouldn't drive a car when you're dead tired, because you lose judgment and there's probably a good chance you're going to crash, you're going to fall asleep, you're going to run into something. And he says, the biggest problem with creatives is judgment, but self-judgment. So they create a piece of work, but because they're so like awake and okay with it, they're like, it's no good. And you see this in people, like they're creating awesome stuff that I'm sure the world enjoys, but they never release it because they've got self-judgment on it. So, well, maybe we need to change the word success to like fulfillment.
I think I know what it is that causes the itch, or the essence of the itch. And it's not what someone does, because you can force someone to do something, right? Someone can spend their whole life thinking they're going to become a doctor because their parents have told them they're going to become a doctor, right? Yeah. But it's what makes someone curious, because you can't actually force someone to be curious about something.
No.
Like
curiosity can't be forced.
Yeah, like you can force someone to do something, but you can't force them to be curious about something.
Curiosity is it. That is bang on, mate. That is bang on, because that was the switch that happened for me, is when I started to get intensely curious about something, and then I couldn't switch off. And I don't think I'll ever be able to switch off. Maybe eventually when I feel like there's enough work done, but I know that'll just simply mean I pivot 1 degree within the same context and go explore something else. That's it. So the question is, after a 25-minute robust discussion, what are you naturally, intensely curious about? With no judgment. Because that's the thing. Yeah. That's where people go, I'm actually intensely curious about coffee cups. I love them. And people go, well, that's weird, don't do that. So then you pretend to be intensely curious about, like, get really honest with yourself. What are you intensely and naturally curious about with no judgment from yourself and no judgment externally?